So to start things off, we will create a profile. If you have just opened Anki, it will ask you to create a profile. So we will go to File, Switch Profile, and I'm going to create a new profile just to show you an example. We were going to say Add, and I'm going to name it. So I'm just going to name it as example. Okay, and I will open it. And so this is what it would look like if you have just opened Anki. The very first thing that you should do is press on sync, and that will ask you if you want to create an account online, which you need to, only because you want to link all of your cards to an online account, and that will keep your content synced online. So if anything happens to your app or device or anything like that, you're not going to lose your all of your notes because they will be linked to an online version, so you can access it from any device. You may at some point lose all of your cards by accident, and it will be gone forever because it's not backed up online. So please do that as the first thing. And now that we've done that, so just to note, my Anki looks quite different to the standard version of Anki in the sense that I have a background picture and the colors look a bit different, but that doesn't make any difference in the function of Anki. It's just the way I like it to look, and you can learn how to do that later if you're interested. But for the moment, we are going to create a deck of cards, and the idea is we want to have as few decks as possible. So I'm just going to create clinical deck where I include clinical questions, and then I'm going to create physiology and another anatomy one. You really want to keep your number of decks to a minimum, and we will talk about that later in detail. And then we're going to add a card. So I'm going to go to add or press A on my keyboard. And the first thing we're going to do is choose the deck. So I'm going to add it in my clinical deck, and we're going to choose the type, and it will always be cloze deletion for us. The basic version is front with a question and back with an answer, but we will always use cloze because we can do much more with it, and we can do the basic style, and we can do a lot more than that with cloze. Okay, so just to show an example of creating a basic card, I'm gonna write a sentence. So the organism that causes shingles is varicella zoster virus. Okay, so I want to remember what virus causes shingles. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide this part as blank. So the question will be sort of fill in the gap, and uh, any content in between these two brackets and this part will be hidden in a blank. Now, there are different ways to do this. So if I go back to the sentence as it was, I can highlight the part that I want to hide and press over here on the close deletion, and it will do it. Another way of doing it is I can highlight and press Ctrl Shift Alt C. So I'm just going to type it here, Ctrl plus Shift plus Alt plus C, all at the same time, and it will create this close deletion. And another way of doing it is I can press Ctrl Shift Alt C or press this button, and it will create the close deletion, and then I can type inside it. Zoster virus. Okay, the way I tend to do things is that I just um, type the whole sentence and then decide what part I want to cover for me to remember later. In the extra part, I like to add extra information that will be helpful to just keep reminding myself of. So, like a good picture of what I'm talking about, or added side notes. So, for example, I will include a picture of um, shingles over here, so it will come up when I see the card. So if I hide Ctrl Shift Alt C, and just to show you what it would look like, um, don't worry about what I'm typing here in infections. This is tagging. You don't need to worry about it for now, and we will talk about it later. Okay, so I'm just gonna add it, and just to show you what it would look like, over here I have my text, and I added it in the clinical deck. So when I open it to review my cards, it will come up such as the organ that causes shingles is blank, and when I review the card, it will be varicella zoster virus, and it will come up with an extra picture. Now, depending on how easy or hard the card was, I will see it in 4 days or in less than 1 minute, and so on and so forth. So that's essentially the basics of building a deck, building a card, and we will go in much more detail later on as we go, and we'll go step by step. Okay.